In the bustling city of Lagos where Mr. and Mrs. Edward lived, life was filled with abundance and opportunity. The Edwards were a wealthy family, known for their generosity and respect in the community. Their home was a grand mansion in an upscale neighborhood, with tall gates and lush gardens, reflecting the success Mr. Edward had built through years of hard work. Amidst this luxurious setting were their two daughters, Elena and Sophia. The sisters were as different as sunrise and sunset, each with unique qualities that set them apart. Elena, the elder sister at 27, carried herself with an air of quiet elegance. She was tall and graceful with a natural talent for fashion. From a young age, Elena spent hours sketching designs, dreaming of creating a fashion empire. Yet she was reserved, preferring solitude over the lively gatherings her family enjoyed. Sophia, 2 years younger, was the opposite. At 25, she was vibrant, full of energy and always surrounded by friends. She had an innate ability to light up a room with her laughter. Sophia's ambition was unmatched. She wanted to be an event planner, organizing grand weddings and celebrations that people would never forget. Despite their differences, the sisters shared a bond built on childhood memories. They played together in the garden, ran through the halls of their home and whispered secrets late at night. But beneath the surface, an unspoken tension grew. Sophia's charisma naturally attracted attention. She excelled in school, participated in community activities, and always seemed to have a new project in mind. Mr. and Mrs. Edward often praised her for her hard work. "Elena," their mother would say gently, "look at how determined your sister is. You should learn from her." Elena would smile politely, but her heart ached with each word. When Sophia turned 18, she made a bold decision. "I'm moving to Victoria Island," she announced one evening at dinner. "Victoria Island?" her father asked, surprised. "Yes," Sophia said confidently. "I want to become an event planner, and the city is full of opportunities." Her parents were hesitant at first but eventually supported her decision. "You're a brave girl," Mrs. Edwards said, hugging her. "We'll miss you, but we know you'll make us proud." Elena watched silently, her emotions a mixture of pride and jealousy. As the family gathered to send Sophia off, Elena stood apart, her face calm but her heart heavy. Life in the Edward household changed after Sophia left. The once lively home felt quieter. Mr. and Mrs. Edward missed Sophia dearly, and their conversations often revolved around her achievements. "She's so hardworking," their father would say. "Did you hear? She planned a wedding for 200 guests last week." Elena, sitting quietly at the dining table, clenched her fork. "I'm happy for her," she said softly, though the words felt hollow. 2 years passed and Sophia's success story grew. She returned home occasionally, always bearing gifts and tales of her accomplishments. "I planned a gala for the city's biggest company," she exclaimed during one visit. "The client was so impressed they've already recommended me to others." The family celebrated her success, showering her with praise and prayers. Friends and neighbors who visited often said, "You must be so proud of your daughter." Elena listened from a distance, her smile masking the storm inside. She wanted to scream, "What about me? I have dreams too." But she swallowed her feelings, choosing instead to retreat to her room. As Sophia's visits became more frequent, the differences between the sisters became harder to ignore. Sophia's stories of success, her glowing confidence, and the admiration she received from everyone only fueled Elena's resentment. During one particular visit, Sophia brought home a framed article featuring her business. "Look, Mama," she said excitedly. "I was interviewed for the city's magazine." Mrs. Edwards' eyes glistened with pride. "This is wonderful, Sophia. We always knew you'd do great things." Elena sat in silence, the words cutting deeper than she cared to admit. Later that evening, as the family relaxed in their spacious living room, Sophia turned to Elena. "Why don't you come to Victoria Island?" she suggested. "There's so much opportunity there. I can help you start your fashion business." Elena blinked, caught off guard. "Me? Move to Victoria Island?" "Yes," Sophia said eagerly. "You're talented, Elena. I could introduce you to people who can help. We could even collaborate." Elena forced a smile. "That's a great idea," she said, though her thoughts churned with suspicion. "Why does she want to help me? Is it to make herself look better?" The seed of jealousy that had been planted in childhood now began to grow into something darker. One night, as the family celebrated another of Sophia's achievements, Elena excused herself and stepped out onto the balcony. The city lights stretched before her, the hum of traffic filling the air. She leaned against the railing, her emotions overwhelming her. "Why her?" she whispered. "Why does she always win?" Tears streamed down her face as she wrestled with her feelings. A part of her loved her sister and admired her success, but another part felt crushed under the weight of comparison. In that quiet moment, Elena made a decision. If Sophia wanted her to move to Victoria Island, she would go. But not to start her fashion business. No, she had a different plan. A plan to reclaim her own sense of worth, even if it meant hurting her sister. When Sophia visited again a few weeks later, she repeated her offer. "Elena, what do you think? Will you come to the city with me?" This time Elena didn't hesitate. "Yes, Sophia. I'd love to." Sophia beamed, pulling her sister into a tight hug. "This will be amazing." Elena smiled, her expression warm and sincere. But deep within her heart, a storm brewed. As they prepared for the journey, Mr. and Mrs. Edward were thrilled. "You two will achieve great things together," their mother said, her eyes shining with hope. Elena packed her bags, her thoughts racing. "This is my chance," she thought. "Finally, I'll step out of her shadow." The sisters left for Victoria Island, their parents waving goodbye with tears of joy. But neither Mr. and Mrs. Edward nor Sophia could foresee the challenges ahead. For behind Elena's polite demeanor was a resolve to change the narrative. A resolve that would test the bond between them like never before. The seeds of jealousy had sprouted, and the journey ahead promised conflict, discovery, and ultimately redemption. The drive into Victoria Island was breathtaking. The city was alive with towering skyscrapers, brightly lit billboards, and bustling streets filled with people. Cars zipped past them, and the faint sounds of music and chatter floated through the air. Sophia and Elena sat in the backseat of the car, their luggage neatly packed in the trunk. "I told you Victoria Island is amazing," Sophia said, smiling as she looked out the window. "This is where dreams come true, Elena." Elena nodded, trying to appear excited. "It's definitely lively," she replied, her voice calm but her mind racing. They arrived at Sophia's apartment, a luxurious high-rise building in the heart of the city. The doorman greeted them warmly, tipping his hat as he held the door open. "This is home," Sophia said as they entered the lobby. The polished floors gleamed under the chandelier's light, and the scent of fresh flowers filled the air. Elena followed Sophia to the elevator, silently taking in her sister's world. The ride to the 15th floor was quick, and soon they were standing in front of a sleek wooden door. Sophia unlocked it with a flourish. "Welcome to your new home." The apartment was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed a panoramic view of the city skyline. The open-concept living area was tastefully decorated with modern furniture, plush rugs, and abstract art. Elena stepped inside, her eyes scanning every detail. "This is incredible," she said, her tone laced with genuine admiration. Sophia beamed. "I knew you'd love it. Come, I'll show you your room." The guest bedroom was just as elegant as the rest of the apartment. The bed was neatly made with crisp white sheets, and a vase of fresh lilies sat on the bedside table. A large wardrobe and a writing desk completed the space. "This is all for me?" Elena asked, her voice soft. "Of course," Sophia replied. "Your family. I want you to be comfortable here." Elena placed her suitcase by the wardrobe and turned to her sister. "Thank you, Sophia. You've done so much for me already." Sophia waved her hand dismissively. "Don't mention it. Now let's unpack and get settled. Tomorrow we start your journey to success." The first few days in Victoria Island were a whirlwind. Sophia took Elena on a tour of the city, showing her the vibrant neighborhoods, luxury boutiques, and bustling markets. They dined at trendy restaurants, explored art galleries, and even attended a few networking events. "You'll fit right in here," Sophia said as they sipped coffee at an upscale cafe one afternoon. "This city is full of opportunities, and I'll help you make the most of them." Elena smiled, nodding along. "Thank you, Sophia. I'm lucky to have you." But inside, her jealousy simmered. Every time someone greeted Sophia with admiration or praised her accomplishments, Elena felt a pang of resentment. Sophia's work routine was just as impressive. She owned a thriving event planning company and had an office in a sleek corporate building downtown. Sophia introduced Elena to her team, a group of young, energetic professionals who clearly adored their boss. "This is my sister, Elena," Sophia said during the team meeting. "She's a talented fashion designer and I'm so excited to have her here." The team welcomed Elena warmly, offering smiles and handshakes. "Your sister talks about you all the time," Tina, Sophia's assistant, said. "It's great to finally meet you." Elena forced a smile. "It's nice to meet you too." Sophia's staff treated Elena like a part of the family, and Sophia gave her free rein to explore the business. Elena observed everything from client meetings to event setups, quietly storing away information. One evening, Sophia returned home after a long day at work, her face glowing with excitement. "Elena, I have big news," she said, setting her bag down. "I just secured a massive contract with one of the biggest corporations in the city. This could be a game changer for my business." Elena clapped her hands together, masking her jealousy with a smile. "That's amazing, Sophia. Congratulations." Sophia hugged her tightly. "Thank you. I couldn't have done it without the support of everyone around me, including you." Elena's smile faltered for a brief moment. She wanted to be happy for her sister, but the constant reminders of Sophia's success were like daggers to her heart. As Sophia celebrated her achievement, Elena's mind began to wander. She thought about the life Sophia had built, the admiration she received, and the endless opportunities that seemed to come her way. A dark thought crept into her mind. "Maybe it's time I changed the story," Elena thought to herself. The next day, Sophia invited Elena to her office to help with a few tasks. Elena used the opportunity to familiarize herself with the company's operations. She observed how Sophia handled clients, noting the names of key contacts and memorizing logins and passwords. "Elena's such a fast learner," Tina commented during lunch. "It's like she's been doing this for years." Sophia laughed. "She's amazing, isn't she? I trust her with everything." Elena's stomach churned at her sister's words, but she kept her expression neutral. "Thank you, Sophia. That means a lot to me." A week later, Sophia went for a meeting with one of her new clients, leaving Elena alone in the office. Elena sat at Sophia's desk, her fingers brushing against the keyboard. The office was quiet. The only sound was the one coming from the distant hum of the city outside. "This is my moment," Elena thought, her heart racing. She logged into Sophia's email account using the password she had memorized. Browsing through the emails, she found the correspondence with the new client. Elena's hands trembled as she began typing. In the email, she posed as Sophia's representative, warning the client about potential issues with Sophia's reliability. "I just want to make sure you're aware of the risks. You're doing a whole lot of harm to yourself if Sophia gets to do this job for you," she wrote. After hitting send, Elena quickly deleted the email from the sent folder, ensuring no trace of her actions remained. As she leaned back in the chair, a mix of guilt and satisfaction washed over her. "This is just the beginning," she thought, standing up and leaving the office as if nothing had happened. Sophia had no idea that her trusted sister was setting the stage for betrayal. A week passed and Sophia grew more excited about the new contract. She couldn't stop talking about the potential it held for her business. Every evening she came home brimming with ideas for the upcoming project. "Elena," she said one night, setting down her laptop on the dining table, "this deal could take my company to the next level. If all goes well, we might even open another branch by the end of the year." Elena forced a smile, nodding. "That's incredible, Sophia. I'm so proud of you." But inside, her jealousy simmered. She couldn't understand how success seemed to follow Sophia so easily. Every time she thought about Sophia's thriving business and the constant praises from others, her resentment deepened. Sophia noticed none of this. She trusted Elena completely, often leaving her in charge of small tasks around the office. One day, Sophia's assistant Tina approached Elena with a smile. "Hey, Elena, would you mind sending out these emails for me? I'm swamped today and Sophia said you're great with details." "Of course, Tina," Elena replied sweetly. As she worked through the tasks, Elena's mind wandered back to her plan. The email she had sent to Sophia's new client last week had gone unnoticed so far. But she needed to do more if she wanted to truly damage Sophia's reputation. Sophia returned home late that evening, her shoulders sagging with exhaustion. "Elena," she called out, dropping her bag on the couch. "You won't believe the day I've had." Elena appeared from the kitchen holding 2 cups of tea. "Tough day." Sophia sighed, sinking into the couch. The client still hasn't responded to my emails. It's strange. They were so enthusiastic when we first spoke. Maybe they're just busy, Elena suggested, handing her the tea. I hope so, Sophia said, taking a sip. This deal is too important to lose. Elena nodded, her expression calm. But as she watched her sister worry, a flicker of satisfaction crossed her mind. Days turned into weeks and Sophia's unease grew. She tried contacting the client again, but her calls went unanswered. She even reached out to the friend who had introduced her to the client. It's odd, Sophia confided to Elena one evening. They seemed so eager to work with me, but now it's like they've disappeared. Maybe something came up on their end, Elena said nonchalantly. You shouldn't stress about it. But Sophia couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Unbeknownst to Sophia, her friend Tina had already begun investigating. Tina was loyal to Sophia and couldn't bear to see her upset. She decided to visit the client's office directly to find out what had happened. The reception at the client's office was polite but frosty. When Tina asked why they had stopped communicating with Sophia, their response left her stunned. We received an email warning us about potential issues with Ms. Edwards' business, the client explained. As a precaution, we decided not to move forward. Tina frowned. That doesn't make sense. Sophia would never send such an email about herself. The client shook their head. The email didn't come from her directly, but her email was used. It was from someone claiming to be concerned about our reputation, and it's hard not to believe. Tina thanked them and left the office, her mind racing. Who would do such a thing? Back at Sophia's office, Tina shared everything she had learned. Sophia, Tina said, her voice tight with anger, someone is sabotaging you. Sophia's face paled. What do you mean? Tina explained the client's claims. You need to check your emails and see if there's any trace of this message. Sophia immediately opened her laptop and searched her email account. But there was nothing unusual in the sent folder. It's clean, Sophia said, her voice shaky. Tina leaned back in her chair, her expression grim. Then whoever did this knew how to cover their tracks. Sophia stared at the screen, her mind racing. Her staff was loyal and she couldn't imagine any of them betraying her. But then a chilling thought crossed her mind. Elena, Sophia whispered. Tina looked at her, confused. What about Elena? Sophia hesitated. She's the only one who has access to my office when I'm not here. Tina frowned. Are you saying you think Elena did this? Sophia shook her head. I don't know. I can't believe she would. But I need to be sure. Sophia decided to review the office's security footage. She asked Tina to leave, wanting to handle the matter privately. As she scrolled through the video files, her heart pounded. Hours of footage passed without incident, but then she saw it. Elena sitting at her desk, typing on the computer. Sophia froze, her breath catching in her throat. She watched as Elena logged into her email account and typed something before quickly logging out. The truth hit her like a freight train. Her sister, the person she had trusted above all else, had betrayed her. Sophia sat back in her chair, her mind reeling. Why would she do this? She whispered to herself. That evening, Sophia returned home earlier than usual. Elena was sitting on the couch, flipping through a magazine. Sophia, you're back early, Elena said, looking up. Sophia's expression was unreadable as she set her bag down. We need to talk, she said, her voice steady but cold. Elena's heart skipped a beat. What's wrong? Sophia sat across from her, locking eyes with her sister. I know what you did. Elena's smile faltered. What are you talking about? I checked the security footage, Sophia said, her tone sharper now. I saw you using my computer. I saw you send that email to my client. Elena's face turned pale. Sophia, I can explain. Explain what? Sophia snapped, her voice rising. That you sabotage me? That you tried to ruin everything I've worked so hard for? Tears welled up in Elena's eyes. I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to? Sophia interrupted. You knew exactly what you were doing. Why, Elena? Why would you do this to me? Elena broke down, burying her face in her hands. I was jealous, okay? I've always been jealous of you. Everyone loves you, everyone admires you, and I'm just invisible. Sophia stared at her sister, her anger mingling with a deep sadness. Elena, you're my sister. I brought you here because I wanted to help you, not compete with you. I know, Elena sobbed. I'm sorry, Sophia. I'm so sorry. Sophia looked away, her emotions a tangled mess. She wanted to forgive Elena, but the betrayal cut deep. Just give me some time, Sophia said finally, standing up and walking to her room. Elena sat alone on the couch, guilt and regret consuming her. Sophia led Tina into her bedroom when she arrived at her apartment. The room, which was usually neatly organized, looked different now. Clothes were strewn across the bed and papers were scattered around. The usual calm of the space was replaced by an unsettling sense of disorder. Tina glanced around, raising an eyebrow. Wow, this is not like you. Sophia gave a weak smile. Yeah, I've been a little distracted lately. Things have been... Tina noticed the tension in her friend's voice. She sat down on the edge of the bed, looking up at Sophia with concern. What's going on, Sophia? You've been distant lately. Sophia hesitated for a moment before sitting down next to her. She reached for her laptop, still plugged into the charger on the nightstand. There's something I need to show you, Tina. It's hard to explain, but I need you to see it for yourself. Tina nodded, her expression serious. Okay, I'm all ears. Sophia clicked a few buttons, then inserted a flash drive into the laptop. The screen flickered as she opened a video file. This is from the office's CCTV footage, she said quietly, glancing at Tina for a moment before turning her attention back to the screen. The video began to play, showing the familiar layout of Sophia's office. The camera angle shifted, and soon they saw Elena sitting at Sophia's desk, typing on the computer with a focused expression. Tina frowned. Is that? Sophia nodded without saying a word, her eyes glued to the screen. The footage continued, showing Elena checking her sister's emails, then composing and sending a message to one of Sophia's clients. The email painted Sophia's business in a negative light, claiming that she was unreliable and slow to deliver on her promises. Tina's eyes widened in disbelief. No. This can't be real. It is, Sophia replied, her voice barely above a whisper. That's my sister. She used my account to ruin my reputation. Tina sat back, her shock evident. But why? Why would she do this to you? Sophia's voice trembled as she spoke. I don't know. I never imagined Elena would go this far. I thought she was happy for me. But I guess it's jealousy. She's always felt like she was in my shadow. Tina shook her head, trying to process what she had just seen. This is just unbelievable. I can't believe Elena would do something like this. Sophia closed the laptop, her hands shaking slightly as she set it aside. I never expected this from her. She's my sister, Tina. I've tried to help her, to be there for her. And now this. Tina reached over, gently placing a hand on Sophia's. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. Sophia exhaled deeply, her mind racing. I don't know what to do. This is so much to process. I feel so betrayed. Tina looked at her with understanding. I can't imagine how you're feeling. But I'm here for you, whatever you decide. You don't have to go through this alone. Sophia offered her a small smile, grateful for her friend's support. Thank you, Tina. I don't know what I'd do without you. Tina squeezed her hand. You don't have to worry about that. I've got your back. The two sat in silence for a while, the weight of the situation hanging heavily between them. Sophia's mind was swirling with thoughts, but for the moment she was thankful for Tina's presence and the comfort that came from having someone who understood. Sophia sat at the kitchen table, her head buried in her hands. Her heart felt heavy, her mind overwhelmed with the betrayal she had just uncovered. She had been betrayed by the one person she trusted most, her own sister. The last few days had been an emotional whirlwind, and she still couldn't fully comprehend what had happened. The silence in the room was deafening. Sophia took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm of emotions inside her. She needed to speak to Elena to understand why she had done this. There was so much anger, confusion, and sadness within her, but there was also a deep yearning for answers. With determination, Sophia stood up, straightening her clothes and wiping away the tears that had threatened to fall. She walked to the living room where Elena was sitting, looking out the window. The silence between them was suffocating, the tension almost palpable. Elena turned as Sophia entered the room, her face betraying a mixture of guilt and fear. She opened her mouth to speak, but Sophia held up her hand. Don't. I already know what you did. Sophia's voice was calm, but the pain in her eyes was unmistakable. Elena's face fell. She stood up slowly, looking like she wanted to say something, but the words seemed to escape her. Sophia, I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. Sophia crossed her arms, her voice shaking with emotion. Then why did you do it, Elena? Why would you sabotage me like that? I've done nothing but try to help you. Elena's eyes filled with tears and she sat back down on the couch, her hands shaking. I don't know what came over me. I was jealous, Sophia. Ever since we were kids, I felt like I could never live up to you. You were always so perfect, so smart, so successful. And I always felt like I was just in the background, invisible to everyone, even to Mom and Dad. Sophia's heart sank as she listened to her sister's words. She had never realized how deeply Elena's jealousy had affected her. She had always been there for her, offering help and support, but she never knew that Elena had been harboring such negative feelings. I never meant to hurt you, Elena continued, her voice breaking. I just wanted to be seen. To be as important as you. And when I saw how much everyone admired you, how much success you had, it made me feel small. I thought if I could just ruin things for you, maybe I could get some of that attention. Sophia's anger faded, replaced by a deep sadness. She sat down next to Elena, her heart aching for her sister. Elena, you don't need to do things like that. You have your own path. Your own talent. You're just as important as anyone else. I've never thought of you as anything less. I just wanted to see you succeed too. Tears streamed down Elena's face as she reached out and grabbed Sophia's hands. I'm so sorry, Sophia. I was so blinded by my own insecurity that I didn't see how much you cared. I've been so selfish. I've hurt you and I hate myself for it. Sophia remained silent for a moment, processing what her sister had said. It hurt to hear Elena admit how she had been feeling all these years, but in some strange way, it also brought them closer. For the first time, Sophia felt like Elena truly understood the pain she had caused, and she wasn't just apologizing to get out of trouble. I don't know if I can just forget what you did, Sophia said softly. But I'm willing to try to move past this if you're truly sorry. I don't want this to tear us apart, Elena. You're my sister. I've always wanted the best for you. Elena nodded fervently, her voice raw. I will do whatever it takes to make it right. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'll spend every day trying to prove that I can be the sister you deserve. Sophia thought for a moment, then squeezed Elena's hands. I think we both have a lot to work through. But I'm willing to start if you are. Elena's eyes brightened, her heart swelling with gratitude. I will. I promise I will. As the two sisters sat together, the air between them felt lighter, though the journey ahead would not be easy. There were many things to repair, many wounds to heal. But for the first time in a long while, they both felt hopeful. A few days later, Sophia went back to the clients, explaining the situation and clearing up the misunderstanding. At first, the clients were skeptical, but after hearing the full story and receiving a heartfelt apology from Sophia, they agreed to reconsider the contract. Sophia's business slowly regained its reputation, and the contracts she had worked so hard for came flooding back. But more than the success, it was the healing of the bond between the two sisters that brought Sophia the greatest peace. Elena, for her part, began to work hard on her own dreams. She enrolled in a fashion design program and started building her own business, finally finding the confidence she had always lacked. Though their paths had been complicated and their relationship tested, both sisters came to understand that success did not have to be a competition. They didn't have to tear each other down to build themselves up. And as they grew closer, they discovered that their love for each other was the most important success of all. And so, the two sisters, each with their own unique strengths, began a new chapter in their lives, one of healing, understanding, and the unbreakable bond of family.